ranking the top midfielders for AFL Fantasy 2025. Let's get into it. I do just need to clarify, if someone has a DPP, they will instead be included in the Defenders and Forwards version of this video, which are both linked in the description. At number 8, I have Noah Anderson. For a few years now, people have been selecting Anderson as a unique Uber Premium option, but I think this could be the year he takes the next step. He is certainly good enough to. It just depends on how he works with Flanders, who will likely be playing full-time mid. But the reason why I think improvement is coming is this. I've already talked about how Gold Coast won almost everything at home, but nothing away. And very interestingly, Anderson's stats match this perfectly. At home, Noah averaged over 115, but at home, he only averaged 93. I believe Gold Coast's main aim this upcoming season needs to be winning more away. And if this happens, I think Anderson's scores will drastically improve. Now for number 7, and I actually have two people here. Let me explain why. I have both Caleb Serong and Andrew Brayshaw in this place, because I am fairly sure that one will make it and one won't. I just don't know who will be who. In 2024, they showed an inability to both score well simultaneously. In the first 14 rounds, it was Serong. He averaged almost 111, while Brayshaw's average was under triple figures. However, in the final 10 rounds, Andrew turned this around, averaging over 111. But when he did this, Serong's average dropped all the way down to 94. So yeah, basically they can't both score well. Unless, of course, something big changes, but I don't know what that would be. Given that Serong won the Doig medal, which is Freo's best and fairest, and that he made All-Australian, I would think that Serong is more likely to be the main man, as these awards do suggest they would rather the ball in his hands. At the same time, Brayshaw is now entering his absolute prime of his career, and if he is the one, a huge average from him also wouldn't be a shock. In 6th place is Marcus Bontempelli. Marcus averaged 117 2 years ago, but this was a huge outlier to the rest of his career. He averages over 100 consistently. BT, he is more of an impact player, which just speaks volumes about how good he is. The Bulldogs have had McRae, Smith and Daniel leave, but I don't think this will affect him at all, because they didn't do much at all in 2024. In fact, I don't see anything changing at all. Maybe he has for thirst for the Brownlow because he keeps getting robbed, but that's about all I can think of. I think he will maintain his average of 107.5. 5th is Tom Green. Green was super disappointing last season. He started it off averaging 130 in his first 3 games, but then, after his bye, it all went downhill. I actually traded him in when I thought he was cheap, and he scored a 7. In the first 6 rounds, I owned him, he averaged 70. But once he recovered from this, he did show that he's a great player, averaging 109 for the final 9 rounds. That 109 is the same number he averaged in 2023, and if he is playing his best, this is what we should really expect. Peatling is gone, and that midfield is his as long as he really wants it. There actually could be like 10 points of upside, so he might not be a bad one to start with now that I think about it. Now, for the top 4, but first please make sure to subscribe. I've got heaps of quality AFL Fantasy and Supercoach content in the works and already out, which I'm sure you don't want to miss. Only 7% of you are subscribed, and I reckon you can help me do better than that. I'm trying to get 500 subscribers before the AFL season starts. And thanks to all my subscribers out there. Appreciate it. So in 4th place, I've got Zach Merrett. Let me know in the comments if you can think of a better one, but I see Zach Merrett as the most consistent player in the game, especially in a fantasy sense. He has averaged over 108 of the previous 9 seasons, and over 105 7 times. In fact, the last time he averaged under 107 was back in COVID. He is such a rock-solid player, and I doubt that's going to be changing anytime soon. Merrett has both a super high floor and ceiling, which tell me that he will probably average over 108 again this year. I reckon the 3rd best midfielder will be Sam Walsh. Walsh has had a few injury-interrupted seasons in a row now, and as a result, he hasn't been able to live up to his potential. We know Walsh can score. In his debut season, he averaged 92, and in his third season, he averaged 109, which remains his career high. Now coming into his 7th season, you'd expect Walsh to be at his best. When he returned in 2024, he averaged 120 over his first 5 games. But then something just went wrong, and he was stringing many floor scores together at a time. Walsh is certainly a better footballer than the 2021 version of him, so surely he can score at least the same, or even push over 110. Coming in at 2, I've chosen Nick Daicos. Daicos is quite similar to Flanders and Sheasel in a way. He was super productive on the halfback, but then had to be moved into the midfield to have more of an impact. In 2024, he did not reap the benefits of this, with his average dropping a fair bit. However, 2025 is different, and he's still young and all that. Essentially, he will be better, and specifically better in that role. There's no doubt about it, he is every chance to post a career high score and push the 110 mark. The other thing is Collingwood's new addition, Dan Houston. I don't know how this affects Daicos, as it could go either way. There was also a bit of talk about Houston playing mid and Daicos back, but I'm pretty sure that rumour has been put to bed. And now, it's time for first place, and I think the highest averaging midfielder in 2025 will be Errol Gulden. Gulden is an absolute gun, and the only winger I've ever seen to score so well. In 2023 he was insane, averaging 112, but there was a stretch of 17 rounds where he averaged over 120. Last season he was again averaging around 112, but really fell away towards the end of the season as the Swans started losing. I definitely think he will improve on his scoring from last season. He's just 22, and the crazy thing is, he will only be getting better. I would not expect less than an average over 110. Well, please subscribe to help me out and see heaps more content just like this. Thanks.